Hey all, Hibber here. So we don't usually do that many battleships on this channel here, but I think I'm going to change that up a bit in the future. Because I am actually getting just a little bit tired of cruisers now. It's been coming for a while, I think, but it's just... I've been playing cruisers primarily for nearly 3 years now, and I just started to enjoy the more, leisurely approach when you play battleships. It's not so stressful as an agile cruiser, and I think it's just a good time for me to probably play something else for a little bit. Otherwise, I'm just scared I'll turn sour in this game or something like that. Obviously, Yamato, my favorite battleship, checking him out. I think this battle was yesterday, and yeah, we get a Kraken in the game, but it's nothing spectacular. It's a pretty low damage Kraken, less than 100,000 damage, and most of the kills are destroyers. So it's not like there's not lots of potent broadsides or anything like that. It's a Kraken. A Kraken is a Kraken, and yeah, well, that's what you get. So I think part of my, don't know what happened to that guy there, but we are like a minute into the game and he's taken out already. But anyway, I'm thinking that part of the reason for my cruiser fatigue is that I've tasted, the golden apple, so to speak, which is the Colbert. And there's really nothing that really compares to it at the moment. Minotaur is close, yes, but it's not the same, obviously. And like I've said before in my videos, it's really hard to go back to tier 7 or like even lower tiers after playing Colbert and Minotaur at legendary tier, simply because they are so much fun to play. They have very fast firing guns, they have great range and great maneuverability and lots of tools at their disposal. Perhaps not Colbert that much, but Minotaur definitely does. And it's just more fun. I think pretty much as soon as Colbert is released into the wild in this game here, and I'm able to play it, because maybe I'll have to go through the stupid bureau first. Who knows? But anyway, when Colbert is in the game, it will be my most played ship, that's for sure. Because it actually makes legendary tier fun. And the same thing with Minotaur, to a lesser degree I say, but it still makes legendary tier a lot more fun. And another thing is that Worcester also got a buff, so it's actually a decent ship now. And I didn't research it back in the day because I thought, look at that thing, that's going to be terrible. And it was terrible in the beginning, at least that's what I hear from people who actually played it. And I didn't put any effort into that ship at all. But now it's still a Cleveland, and you know what I think about Clevelands. But we need all the cruisers we can get at legendary tier, so I'll see if I can't actually try to enjoy that ship. But like I said, obviously Colbert number 1, and then Minotaur a very close second. Those ships are making legendary tier a lot more fun for me. So that's why when I go back to tier 7 now and I get into my Atago with a 15-second reload, it's just not that much fun. And I don't know if that's a problem or not, but because it is really making me not want to play anything other than legendary tier at the moment. Because I take a tier 7 cruiser out and I think this would be so much more fun in Minotaur. And that's true. I mean, I take out Edinburgh, and it has a 7-second reload, or 7.9 or whatever it is, which is fairly quick for a tier 7 cruiser, but it just feels positively like pedestrian compared to Minotaur's 3-second or whatever it is. And of course you can get that a lot lower if you want to. I don't, but you can, of course, if you want. And the same thing with Colbert. They both have around 2-3 second reload, and it's just it just stops you from being bored with those long reloads where you can't really, do something except take aim every 10 seconds and then hope for the best. More cruisers at legendary tier also means that battleships are more fun to play, because so far legendary tier is always just a stalemate of bow tanking battleships, unless of course you get thrown into like a pure potato game or anything like that. But potato games aren't fun in themselves either. But anyway, you get those, especially on this map here, capture the base on Atlantic in a legendary battle. That's one of the worst combinations you can possibly get, because you're almost guaranteed an extremely boring battle, where battleships sit at their spawn, bow in, and then they shoot at each other for 15 minutes. And there's no domination to cut the battle short or anything like that. It's just a matter of it's just boring. And this battle here isn't particularly exciting, but if we look at it in a general perspective, then adding a few more cruisers to legendary tier is definitely a plus. I take a very nasty hit there, but who cares? So, as I'm saying, cruisers have really brightened up legendary tier here, because one, it makes cruisers a lot more fun to play, and two, it makes battleships a lot more fun to play, and three, it cuts down on the harassment of destroyers, because the main reason for battleships sitting back in legendary tier is the fact that Shimakaze is around, and there hasn't really been any good counter to the let's just say overpowered destroyers at legendary tier, because Shimakaze is probably a little bit over the top. But anyway, there was, for a long time, there was only Alaska, and I mean, yeah, it has a radar, but it's an awful destroyer hunter. But now we have Minotaur, which is probably one of the best destroyer hunters you can possibly think of, and as well as Colbert whenever it comes back, and also the buffed Worcester is also a much better addition to legendary tier. So, I mean, yeah, we're getting to a better spot with legendary tier, that's for sure. I just wonder why it took Wargaming so long to actually do it. Because, wow, it's been more than a year where we've had 3 battleships and I think 2 destroyers or something like that at legendary tier, and then along with Alaska, but I almost consider Alaska a battleship. And, wow. Boy, has legendary tier been stale for a long time and universally hated by the community, and Wargaming hasn't done anything about it for a very long time. But anyway, let's forget about that, because they've actually done something about it now. They added Minotaur, and they added Colbert, or they will add Colbert, and they made Worcester a bit more of a, an actual cruiser. Stalingrad is there as well, but honestly I don't really consider that thing a cruiser either, because all it does is to sit bow in and shoot laser precise salvos. And sure, there should be room for that, but I still don't consider that a destroyer killer by any means. Minotaur, on the other hand, definitely is a destroyer killer, and Colbert as well when you get the opportunity, because you don't have a radar on that ship. But if you see a destroyer in Colbert, then I'm sure you know that the fast reload and the terribly efficient HE will make short work of those things. So yeah, it's taken a long time to get legendary tier up to a playable standard. And honestly, I don't think the whole bureau thing helped with that, where for like unknown reasons, you can't get a ship until you've spent a month researching it. And that's just silly if you ask me. And I hope that Wargaming will stop adding legendary ships into the bureau and instead make them available for global XP, just like the Stalingrad, because that whole thing about like researching a ship just for the sake of researching it, I mean, what is the point? It doesn't make any point to me. You can research upgrades and other stuff like that, and that makes sense, but ships, yeah, 0 sense to me. So there's the Kraken, and that was a very nice blind fire shot there. And you can see we haven't even reached 100,000 damage here, but Kraken is a Kraken, right? So the TLDR of this is pretty much, you can expect a few more battleship battles in the next few weeks, because I'm hoping Colbert will be available at the next update. Again, I don't know this, but it kind of makes sense. We got to try it, and then Wargaming takes a month, it's a long time by the way, to adjust whatever they have to adjust and then release the ship. So hopefully that's what happens, but we'll see. And of course then there will be a flood of Colbert videos. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that was a Kraken in Yamato, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.